My bed's a highway. I wanna ride it all night long. It's going my way. I need to look up something before I go live. Ooh. Oh, it's funny. No, that's not it. What did it do? Is that it? Sorry, folks. There we go. There we go. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. We'll get this and we'll be done. I gotta clip one last thing. Alright. Good. Let's go. Today is Tuesday, July 6, 2021. I am Jarrin Jackson, and that is a flag on the camera, not me. That is my name. That is who I am. I am Jarrin Jackson. I love America. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to begin with my bias, as usual. I am a Bible-believing Christian. The Bible is the Word of God. The gospel of Jesus Christ is the power to salvation, the only way to heaven. Please repent of your sin and believe the gospel. I am a constitutional defending, patriotic, Rush baby, Lynn Wood, multiple time endorsed Trump supporter. Those are my biases. I had a conversation today, multiple conversations today, with people who don't think like me. Like, they don't think a lot like me. And I realized these are normal, breathing adults. Their hearts are pumping. Presumably, ideas are going through their head. And it hit me. Because they don't think like me, they don't have the same perspective I do. They might think like me whenever we add 2 plus 2, we might all get 4. But in matters of election outcomes or integrity issues, in matters of what people are medicating themselves through very small, sharp things with holes on the end that fluid flows through, with respect to what we purchase, the differences of purchase, with differences of entertainment, it hit me. The information that these people receive is not what I receive. And so then that had me thinking, why do they watch the stuff that they watch? Why do they participate and consume the stuff that they do? And so, to that event, I want to ask you, the people, to get involved. But to do that, I got to make it worth your money. I got to make it worth your while, right? You can find more information about me in the links below, by the way. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central, Lord willing. Please pray for my dad and my mom and those things. I don't want to diminish that. But it hit me. They don't have sites that tell them the truth because there's an agenda. There's an incentive. And so I had an idea, and I'm going to put it to use. I'm going to put this idea into action. Now I'm going to ask for your grace and your patience. But this entire show, this entire broadcast, from here on out, is going to be meta-irony. Meta-irony is outside of irony. It is so ironic, you can't tell if it's being serious or not. So to that, I want to try to calibrate things. I'm going to give my normal live stream, but I'm going to do it from the perspective of someone who's in the godless commie media, speaking about things from their perspective on the things that you and I would normally talk about. And so the idea, British, is that we're not going to do that, by the way. The idea is that we're going to present the same types of information, but we're going to have a godless commie media personality speak about those things. So we're going to do it as though a godless commie media personality is talking about the same things you and I are talking about. And we're going to go through the process, British, of the dilemmas, of the cognitive dissonance. We're going to use their talking points. And I'm doing this because I spoke to someone today, completely pragmatic. Pragmatic in the sense that they're more about achieving what they think is good. Like, don't get into office and then just start rattling cages. Don't get into office and advance principles of truth. You have to make deals. You got to compromise. You got to get in good with leadership, climb the ladder, and get influence. And I just disagree. I just disagree. I look at the world differently. I don't know when I'm going to keel over. I don't know when Jesus is going to come get us. I don't know any of that stuff. But I want dangle. I want timber. I want justice. I want America. I don't want to make an excuse for America. I don't want to compromise for America. So I'm not going to. So here's my deal with you. If you send this broadcast to other people and say, here is a mainstream guy, right? We're gonna do the we're gonna timestamp it. So like, look in the timestamp where this is. Look in the timestamp and say, this is a guy talking about, things, crazy issues that all these QAnon conspiracies and Christians and quacks and patriots and Trump supporters, all these people are talking about all this stuff. This guy is so mainstream talking about that stuff, he puts in a good perspective. And so the idea is that they're going to watch me, but I'm going to be playing the part of someone that they would expect to be talking about these things. But in so doing, we're going to expose them to the information that's going to get them to be like, wait, what? So the idea is we're going to Trojan horse people. We're going to Trojan horse people. So I don't know if it's going to be effective. But to that end, I do want to say, I'm going to be doing, what's this thing called? I have this. This is going to be in the corner. Meta-irony. This is going to be in the corner, so you know I'm going to be playing the part. And then here is, and this is the same in line with the black hat. The black hat, oh yeah, the Texan that was the godless commie. This is the same idea, but it's going to be like longer. And then we're going to do, instead of the Death Barrel Resurrection logo, so instead of this, so this is the death, the burial, the resurrection. It is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Amen. It is the power to salvation. Instead of that, we're going to take that off. And what did I put in its place? Put in this. So that's what we're going to do. Now you might think, Jarrin, you look crazy because with your glorious quantum beard and your veteran hat and your KIA bracelets and your shirt, people are going to look at you and be like, I can't believe that guy. Right? Moderates aren't going to look at me. People who are in the squishy middle, the folks that are the pragmatists trying to sacrifice their values in exchange for a temporary gain, right? Those people, they're going to look at me and be like, that guy's a truth speaker. I don't want to hear that guy. I want to hear deceit. I want to be lied to. I want to be lied to and feel good about it. So, to that extent, I'm going to be playing music as I transform into my media personality. And so, first time ever, I beseech you, let me know what you think about in the comments section. Let me know what you think about on my Telegram station. But I think this is going to be fun. We're going to do the update. We're going to do everything. The whole show is going to be like this. So let me know. If not, we'll do it again. We'll not do it again moving forward. But to get that, I need to get in character. So there's no better way to get in character with Mongolian throat singing. We'll do blue. Blue's not as aggressive. Welcome and good evening to Godless Comedy Network. My name is Tyler and Tamikwa. I have a chilled bottle of water, a blue tie, and this evening we're going to be reporting to you the news. Unadulterated truth in our way. Our version of the news. In our version of the news, whenever we change scenes, some people, some YouTube sensational stars that you should follow, have something that says they roll the rock whenever they change their graphics. But here at the Truth News, we have a hammer and sickle. So, hammer and sickle. And there you go. In popular culture, there are certain cartoons that seem to be prophetic in their ability to describe eerily similar things that happen in the future in reality. One of those said shows is called The Simpsons, edited and created by a man named Matt Groening, who may or may not be a Freemason. That's not important. But he had this in one of his recent episodes. See if there's any similarities between this and what's going on in real life.
I'd like to call to order this secret conclave of America's media empires. We're here to come up with the next phony baloney crisis to put Americans back where they belong, in dark rooms glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials.
Well, I think...
NBC, you are here to listen and not speak. I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark, except instead of a shark, it's an epidemic. And instead of summer, it's all the time.
That is so...
Now, I hate to be the guy who derails what everybody else loves.
He loves being that guy.
But, Janice, we do have standards. This can't be a made-up disease. The only moral thing to do is release a deadly virus into the general public.
We do have something we've been holding on to, but it hasn't been tested. Get over here, NBC.
Well, we certainly believe in testing, but Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah.
So, we've got our deadly disease. Now, we just have to blame it on something that's in every household, something that people are a little bit afraid of already. House cat flu is coming, people. The Center for Disease Disinformation predicts with some degree of probability that the house cat flu might spread in the following hypothetical outbreak pattern. So petter beware, that warm body on your lap just might be ready to destroy your tender fiddles. Springfielders are advised to stay tuned for more information if they experience any of the following symptoms: mild thirst, occasional hunger, tiredness.
So that is going on, and that is a show that may or may not be able to tell the truth because the person may or may not be inside of a secret society who plans out these types of things. But here at True News, we don't believe those things. We believe is exactly what we tell you, and that is everything is just random, and no one had any idea that the COVID vaccine or the COVID-19 virus was going to be unleashed. No one knew. No taxpayer dollars were used from America. No taxpayer dollars were taken by the government from hardworking citizens and given to a Chinese production facility in Wuhan, China. That didn't happen. In fact, it also did not happen that the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Tony Fauci, he had no idea about it. So that's true too. That absolutely did not happen. But in similar related news, and I guess, this also may or may not have been predicted by that same said internet celebrity, O-list celebrity. Did you know that there is a Lambda variant? That's right. News out of New Zealand is that a Lambda variant is detected in Australia. Down under, the people that are most susceptible to wallabies, kangaroos, and now the Lambda variant, it is unfortunate that our Aussie friends down under are the ones that are most susceptible to this Lambda variant. That, if you read a poll quote, it says that the Lambda variant has just started to make its way into the community in the UK, with 6 cases reported on Monday. 6. The UK has a population of over 10 million. So this is a significant thing. This is so significant. Be ready to die inside your homes, isolated, not having seen grandma, or maybe even your spouse. Don't go to the grocery store to stock up because that food's infected with Lambda. In fact, Lambda variant of COVID-19 specifically targets everything that humans need, which is food and water. I read on. This says, it is a worrying sign for the UK, which has recently relaxed its restriction after 37 million people released at least one dose of the vaccine. So remember whenever I said that the UK had 10 people? That was an inaccuracy in the teleprompter, because I read whatever's on the teleprompter, right? But the teleprompter said 10 million, but this article said 37 million. So at least 37 million people are in the UK. We continue. The country had returned to normality in recent weeks, with pubs flooded by revelers enjoying their country's recent success at Euro 2020. As normal people who like to live their lives would live their lives whenever they're not controlled by a unexpected virus that was not paid for by American taxpayer dollars. However, these civil liberties could change if the highly transmissible Lambda strain spreads across the community. Because as we know here in the UK, civil liberties are contingent upon 6 people getting a virulent strain or a virulent strain out of Australia. So this is news that is unheard of, people. It's never been heard of 6 people getting sick within 4 weeks. And so if 6 people out of 36 or 37 million plus people get sick from a virus, it's necessary to shut things down because of science. Does that make sense? And then you got climate change to consider, and so you've got COVID justice and climate justice, and they're all kind of the same. But 6 people, folks, let's not get crazy. This is horrible. And now I know the skeptics, the O-list celebrities out of the Jarrin Jackson live stream, they might get so funny, and they might they might call out, isn't it kind of weird that the first variant of COVID was the Delta variant, and then now this variant is the Lambda variant? So that begs the question, which letter of the Greek alphabet? Which letter of the Greek alphabet, if my things... I have bad productions, folks. Which letter of the Greek alphabet is going to be used next? Is it going to be tau? Maybe Z. My bet is on Omicron, or Pi, or Rho, or Sigma. Mu, or Zeta, Epsilon? We don't know. But what we do know here at True News is whatever expected and guaranteed variant is going to come after Lambda, it will have at least 6 people that are sick from it. And that's serious, because we want to make sure that no one dies. In fact, we want to make sure that everyone has the ability to not die. And we'll talk about anything except for the gospel of Jesus Christ. As long as we don't talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ and its power to salvation, we'll be fine. Or hydroxychloroquine, or ivermectin, or vitamin D, or C, or water, or exercise. Basically, if we don't talk about that stuff, we'll talk about anything. We'll talk about absolutely everything. And we'll talk about jabs, jabs, jabs. Now, that same O-list celebrity might then start to say, well, why didn't the people at the Public Health Institute that may or may not didn't take U.S. taxpayer dollars and give it to a Chinese laboratory? They didn't do that, by the way. We are reporting that is not what happened. They did not take money from U.S. taxpayer dollars and give it to Wuhan, China, and it wasn't done by Anthony Fauci. It wasn't done by Anthony Fauci. But you might start to think, well, why did you use the Greek alphabet? Why not the Latin alphabet? Or to save the people from whose civil liberties you're going to be curtailing every single time that 6 people get sick from a new variant, and therefore a new letter of the alphabet? Why don't you use the shortest alphabet, the Rotakis alphabet from Papua New Guinea? It's got 12 letters. That's right, they look like American letters or English letters, but they're not. But the Rotakis alphabet for Papua New Guinea, 12 letters. Those of us at True News long for the day that we have variants and viruses emerging according to Rotakis alphabets. That's the world we want to live in, people. Because Rotakis alphabet variants from diseases that were not paid for by American taxpayer dollars through Anthony Fauci from Wuhan, China, they only make 5 people sick. So, but then again, that O-list celebrity better be, you all better say thank you that your civil liberties aren't going to be curtailed as many times as the Khmer alphabet out of Cambodia. That alphabet is just reeking of dozens and dozens and dozens of people being sick. I mean, could you imagine? For every 74 letter, they have 74 letters. Every single letter, at least 6 people get sick. That's just crazy. Okay. Did you know that the DoD is starting to make the vaccine mandatory for its people? But Representative Thomas Massie out of Kentucky says that he's going to sign a law or propose a bill, piece of legislation that goes against it, because, as it were, there's a good chunk of the military that doesn't believe what they're told and doesn't want to do something if given the option not to do it. And so the DoD is talking about forcing people to make a medical decision, a personal medical decision. So we're all for that. Here at True News, we're all for compelling people to make personal, intimate medical decisions that they normally have to do on their own. But we're talking about 6 people. We're talking about half dozens of people getting sick from this virus, this variant. Greek alphabet people, like the Mu variant and the Epsilon variant. I've heard scientists from laboratories say that 8 or 9 people can get sick from the Mu variant. I've heard one scientist tweeted on social media, which is one of the sources of our truth, from that Twitter page, which we believe, we don't fact check at all unless they support Trump. But on this Twitter account, they said that 12 people could get sick from the Epsilon variant. And so with 12 people potentially getting sick, I say make all the vaccines mandatory to all the members of the Department of Defense. Don't ask their permission. Don't care what they say. Jab them. Pull quote. This is Representative Thomas Massie. He's been contacted. He's filed H.R. 3860 to prohibit any mandatory requirement that a member of the armed forces receive a vaccination against COVID-19. It now has 24 sponsors. Representative Massie, I'm appealing to you. Don't you understand that at least 7 people could get sick from this? Don't you understand, by not doing this and only addressing a virus that eerily replaced the deaths of the flu last year, but we don't agree with that. We don't agree with that at all. But do you not understand, by not going along with what people like me and all the other people of the media outlets are reporting to you, if you don't go along with what we say, more people could not die from the virus, but that the death certificates could say that they did, and then we'd have to report that the death certificates reported that they came from the virus. And so, did you want that on your conscience? Are you able to, whenever you die, and because we don't believe in an afterlife here at the Godless Commie News Network, whenever you just die and return to Earth and you're composted to hopefully raise a tree, did you think that you're just going to have no conscience or recollection of that whenever you go up into the Allspark? You're gonna come back as a virus, not as a person and not as a cow or a tree or a butterfly. You're gonna come back as a virus. That's your karma. That's your karma. You're going to ascend to the negative 13th dimension. Did you also know that there is a court case? This court case, this document right here, I know not a lot of you are lawyers, but this person right here, the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, did you know that this actual legitimate document from June 23rd, you know what this is about? This is about whether or not Saudi Arabia was involved in the 9/11 attacks, like the country of Saudi Arabia, not the jihadi attackers. Not that there's anything wrong with the jihad or not. This is Godless Commie News Network. In fact, why am I wearing an America pin that just doesn't make sense? I need a rainbow pin. But the Godless Commie News Network it has no problems with jihadis. If you want to believe the Quran, even though it was destroyed by the by the Caliph of Uthman because there were so many different versions and he burned them all and only made one version, but yet there's still 26 versions of the Quran. But if you want to believe what the Quran teaches about jihad and you want to go around and kill Christians or Jews, we're good with that. We're here at the Godless Commie News Network. We are absolutely good with that. We 100% support Muslims doing all the stuff that they do, putting bed sheets over women. I think it's just a very religious, spiritual thing. It's so good. So good. Don't make them drive. They don't need their votes heard or their voices heard in the public square. Rulerist should be enacted. But anyway, the Saudi Arabia is going to be under investigation, and there is a U.S. court, U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York that's actually looking into the role of the Saudi Arabian government being involved in 9/11. Which is very interesting. In most recent racist bigot news, President Trump tweeted out, this is on Telegram, which is a social media outlet full of right-wing extremists. President Trump, the racist, sent out, election reform must happen in swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia. We can't read, but a lot of different people. There's 21,000 deceased registrants. That's dead people. We're thankful that President Trump said dead people, because our audience here at the Godless Commie News Network cannot distinguish and don't know how to define 21,000 deceased registrants. We look at that as just everyday voters. I mean, that's how most of the people that we support win. They need a lot of dead people on the voter rolls. We'll get to that in here in a little bit. But he continues. And pass real election reform in order to fight back against the radical left Democrats. If they don't, we'll steal it again in 2022, 2024, and destroy our country. I really wish President Trump would stop trying to tell people what we're doing. I wasn't supposed to read that on the teleprompter. Well, then tell Toby to not put it on the teleprompter. I'm going to read it if it's on the teleprompter. If you put on the teleprompter that it's our scheme to steal their elections by hook, by crook, by fraud, by intimidation, okay, well then don't put it on the teleprompter. We're still live? We're still live. Okay. Hi. Did you know that China, our good friends in China is making a play for Afghanistan? They are going to invest $62 billion in their Belt and Road program. This is from America's birthday 2 days ago, so we definitely were paying more attention to China than we were America. But this article says, if you do a poll quote from this, this is where these relative countries are, and if China, marked by that word to the right, which is the opposite of the left, China is close to Afghanistan and Pakistan. If China got this Belt and Road Initiative, if they got this money, what China is trying to do is basically have control, territorial control of all of Asia. And so when America leaves Afghanistan, what happens is that China's going to invest. They're going to build roads. They're going to build superhighways. They're going to build railroads. And because China doesn't really care about human rights, unlike the Americans who have restrictive rules of engagement and can't shoot back when they get shot at, the Chinese people will do what they do to the Uyghurs, and that's just imprison them and kill them in the millions, because those people stand against progress. So anyone who stands against progress in Afghanistan is going to be taken care of, and the Chinese are the right people to do that. So Xing Ping Pong, Xing Pong Ching Wang. Or, as we like to say here on the Godless Commie News Network, so we want to say, good job, China, in waiting out the Americans to get out. And so another poll quote says, and this is interesting. Poll quote from this article says, China is hoping that though its BRI, that's Belt and Road Initiative, the belt is the littoral, that is coastal naval strategy. The road is the roads and the superhighways and the railroads. The BRI strategy, it can connect Asia with Africa and Europe through land and maritime networks. Maritime is ocean, water. That would span across 60 countries. 60 is the number between 59 and 61. The strategy would enhance China's influence across the world with an estimated value of $4 trillion. Afghanistan could give China a strategic foothold in the region for trade with the country acting as a central hub connecting the Middle East, Central Asia, and Europe. The Chinese, here's the good part, the Chinese have very carefully cultivated many political leaders to buy political support for the projects in Afghanistan at the same time. The Chinese government can ill afford to see Afghanistan not webbed through the BRI, a source continued. Now, is that really good, that last part, the source? We at the Godless Commie News Network, we love anonymous sources because they happen to say every single thing that we want them to without any of the potential backlash of burning our source. And really, sometimes we just make them up. So, there's that. So, with the next one, let's do this. Did you know the governor of New York, that's right, the guy that has sexcapades and he has nipple piercings, Governor Cuomo has decided that he's going to flatten the curve, gun violence edition. That is right. This is from Breitbart, that racist. Breitbart reports, quote, Cuomo made clear his intention to counter PLCAA, which is some right-wing, crazy constitutional Second Amendment thing, by reinstituting prima nocta, New York public nuisance liability for gun manufacturers. He made clear the goal is to remove immunity for gun makers. Now, this is just a quick editor's note. We don't want any patriots. If there's by any chance any Trump supporters, patriots, Christians, anybody who kind of buys into this live local nonsense, if you buy into a live local nonsense, we absolutely do not want you to support any Magic Rock subscription companies. Because those companies seem to be designed and postured to be directly against party tits. Directly against Governor Cuomo trying to stamp out and make liable gun manufacturers. He'll go on to Magic Rocks. He'll do all this stuff. In fact, listen to what Governor Cuomo had to say in between writing New York Times bestsellers. He also stressed smart gun technology, which is technology that operates via bioreaders for fingerprints, like a smartphone, or uses a bracelet or ring that sends a single to activate the pistol. A signal. See, I'm reading again. It sends a signal to activate the pistol. You see, folks, this guy, he supports technology on top of firearms because Governor Cuomo doesn't see the Second Amendment as all those constitutional defenders do. He sees it as a document that's more kind of like a relic of racism. So anytime you hear amendment, unless it's the 16th Amendment or the 17th Amendment, we really like those. Unless it's those types of amendments, if it's all these other amendments that limit government, well, we at the Godless Commie News Network, we don't really like those. We like the ones that kind of just centralize all the power, centralize all the authority, take away the freedom and the liberty from the American people. Basically, if there's any kind of like biblical influence, we just like to kind of do the opposite. And that's what we like to do at the Godless Commie News Network, is to just support the opposite of the Bible. Because unlike what everyone else will tell you, we know the Bible's a word of God. We just hate it. So with that, Godless Commie fellow comrade Andrew Cuomo is going to be coming after guns. Why? Because he cares about his people. And he doesn't want anyone to die. Except for those old people that were shifted altogether in old folks' homes. But that wasn't his fault. That was just the people that were obeying his orders. It's their fault. It's the people who did what they were told by him to do. I gotta work that one out. Here is, today we got to hear from our leader again. In between his naps, the one time he's doing something public today, dear leader, Godless Commie Joe Biden, I got to admit, I did not watch this live because I was praying to him while facing east. But one of the 5 times, of course, yes, I meet my quota. I pray to Joe Biden. Oh, excuse me. I meditate. I meditate while doing yoga facing east. Warrior 2 pose. I'm always Warrior 2 posing towards the east. Did you know that? It's just amazing. Warrior 2 pose. In fact, did you know just a little bit of the background? So yoga is from the Hindu religion that comes from the word yug, and yug means unity, and that unity is actually with the great Brahma spirit. So whenever you do yoga, did you know that these yoga postures are actually designed to get your 7 chakras going from the base of the spine up to the brain? And if you can align your 7 chakras, which is what the yoga positions try to do to increase your flexibility, they will actually bring a warmth and vibrations to your body. And if you can get to the 7th chakra, that's your pineal gland, just your third eye, if you can do that, You can experience astral projection and lucid dreaming, which is just amazing. And so in between prayer sessions, or I should say meditation sessions, I was doing yoga. And did you know that the Warrior 1 pose, the Warrior 2 pose, and the Warrior 3 pose is actually the story of a Hindu god going to battle and severing the head of his opponent? So, it's interesting. I do it because I like to be of the world. I like to really engage other cultures and kind of see what everyone else believes. And then I believe it too, except for the Bible. I don't believe the Bible. I really don't like the Bible because anytime I read or hear the Bible, it actually it makes me feel bad. And I just don't want to feel bad. So I just ignore it. So when someone tells me the gospel, I just let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about the gospel. Let's not talk about the gospel. I just want people to not talk about the gospel. Let's get back to our dear leader. Let's get back to our dear leader. So anyway, in between meditation sessions and yoga sessions, quick. On the way to meditation, the more that you meditate, so the essence of meditation is emptying your mind. That's why you say the same mantra over and over and over. And so if you say the same thing over and over and over, it loses meaning. And if you're able to fixate on that mantra, something like I have a word, it's just called selfless. Selfless. I say selfless like 10,000 times. Eventually, I just start to astral project. But here's the thing. And scientists have backed this up. Neuroscientists have backed this up with research. Whenever you do research and they've researched into this stuff, when you look into the neuroscience and the medicine behind meditation, it actually flattens the brain waves. So your brain, whether you know this or not, I know that you're stupid because you watch me, but if your brain waves will flatten, and when they flatten, you eliminate your thought. And if you have flat brain waves, your critical thinking lowers. Your situational awareness lowers. Your cognitive function lowers. Your memory lowers. Your penchant for going towards, because we believe in evolution, the lizard brain, which is at your brainstem, that's like the basic amygdala. That's the primal urge for lust and anger and violence. So like the more violent people are, the more vicious they are. It's probably a sign of flat brain waves, and that person is probably someone who has done yoga in the past. In fact, here's a woman that was defending her rights during America's birthday of independence. This is a woman who does yoga. This is a woman who probably has a coexist bumper sticker on her car. So this woman is our people. I just feel really bad for her. I feel so bad for her that those patriots dare celebrate, as Americans have for hundreds of years, dare celebrate with fireworks. Why would you celebrate this country? Why would you celebrate America? It's not like it's free. It's not like it's brought so much freedom and prosperity and wealth to the rest of the world. You can't draw any kind of good historical correlation, positive and strong correlation, between America's presence in the world and the decline of violence in massive wars. You can't find any strong or positive correlation between America and technology or information or invention. I mean, most of the worldwide patents that have changed the world, they come out of America. Why? Because of racism. Colonialism, that's right. Because black people in the lichens of Muhammad, who, peace be upon him, he started the African slave trade. He did. And so then when people came over here, we like Muslims and we like Islam, but not the white people in America, but the white people in America, hundreds of years after slaves came here, are still inventing stuff, and they're able to invent stuff because there were slaves that were brought here from Africa. And if you identify, well, then why didn't the people in the Middle East also have corresponding inventions, and why aren't they also patenting things, and why aren't they also changing the world for the good things? Because they also had slaves. If you're going to try to do that type of thinking with me, then you clearly are microaggressing me, and you're attacking my non-binary status. So you're racist and you shouldn't be watching. And I'll report you. To the Facebook Trust and Safety Team and YouTube. Because as that O-list celebrity played on his YouTube yesterday, the cops will come to your show, or the cops will come to your house if you say anything bad on Facebook. So anyway, back to Dear Leader, Godless Commie Joe Biden. This is what he had to say. I just love this man so much. I just love him so much, like he does 4-year-old kids.
Every COVID-19 hospitalization and death in the United States has been among the unvaccinated. So if you're vaccinated, you're protected. But if you're unvaccinated, you're not. And you're putting yourself, more importantly, maybe from your perspective, your family and your friends at risk. So please get vaccinated now. It works. It's free. And it's never been easier. And it's never been more important. Do it now. For yourself and the people you care about. For your neighborhood. For your country. It sounds corny, but it's a patriotic thing to do. In today's briefing, we discussed how our administration is going to devote the remainder of the summer to a...
I'm sorry, my attention span isn't what it used to be with the flattened brainwaves and everything. But did you understand how he's saying that it's free and it's easy and you're going to save lives? I urge you, if you're in my audience and you have the coexist stickers and you don't believe in Jesus and you want to see America being overthrown, please, 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 please get people to take the medicine that Dr. Anthony Fauci did not siphon American taxpayer dollars to Wuhan, China to develop a bioweapon. He didn't do that. But take that may or may not be from that. Please take that and tell people to take that and encourage them. And maybe they'll do it if you give them a coexist bumper sticker. I know that every single person I know that has a coexist bumper sticker, they'll take whatever vaccines are told to them to take willingly, and they love to do it. But did you understand what he was saying there? It's a national initiative, and so we're going to our opponent's sources here. Breitbart has this to say. Breitbart is they're going to send people door to door. They're going to send people door to door, and I think this is so great. Because if you're able to get people to take medication that will help them and not depopulate the world, if you're able to get people to do that, I think that's great. I mean, patriotism, bleh. But if you're able to do that, I mean, just spread the LGBTQ love, just in support of women and people of color and Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And this is really that. This is really Black Lives Matter in like a door-to-door campaign. In fact, I could see how a lot of these people aren't even going to be registered, y'all. And so if we justify going door to door to have these people take the vaccine, and then we can give them a coexist bumper sticker, we could also probably ask them, hey, you guys registered to vote? Oh, no, you're not. Here's voter registration for you guys. Oh, you know, I can't tell you what party we're in, but we're Democrats. You know, I think it'll be great. It's America. It's democracy. It's all in one. And then our girl, she's so educated and pretty and smart and not bad at her job at all. She had this to say.
In more healthcare settings and respond to hotspots. The president will outline 5 areas his team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. 1, targeted community-by-community door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is. 2, a renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more primary care doctors and physicians, something that...
Yeah, so we really like that. We really like just getting as many people the drugs as absolutely possible. We want to save lives, and we don't want more than 6 people to get sick. So if you have it in your heart, meditate on it, yoga on it, just flatten those brain waves, and then that way you'll be more susceptible to understand and listen to the things that you're being told by people like me. So, in conclusion, as we wrap up, because my live stream or this show is corporate sponsored by some George. Who owns us now? George Soros, Rothschilds. Okay. Well, we can't tell people about them, right? Okay. Yeah. No. Microsoft owns us, and Google, and Nike, and Coke, and Walmart, and JBS, and Tyson. Who else? That's it. Yeah, so we've got great owners. We got great owners, great American companies made here in America for the American worker. But if you think about what we've talked about today, you should have a sense of feeling that the six-colored rainbow is over this land. You should have a sense of assurance that the science is determined according to Dr. Fauci, that there's no lies. There's no lies, people. No lies. Would I lie to you? I mean, I even took my America pin off. Would someone who took their American pin off on... I mean, obviously, I don't care about what people think. Would someone like me lie to you? Do I need to go show you my coexist bumper sticker? Send Tamikwa to go get the coexist bumper sticker, please. Thank you. What's that? Is that a KI bracelet? No, that's a gluten-free award that I got at my kale salad club last week. What I wanted to say, and I wanted to end this live stream by saying you should continue to watch us, because there's a lot of people out there that are trying to tell you information that just doesn't make sense. In fact, what's that? You want me to play the clip now? I'm going to play this clip. And just to show you how, open I am to everything, I'm going to play this clip. And we're going to talk about this honestly, because I've never seen this clip. So I'm just going to play this clip, and I'm going to show you this is the type of stuff that people are lying about. Let's just watch this. Let's just watch the clip.
The official name for this is called parabiasis. I'm not going to tell you the other name, but for scientific terms and principles, parabiasis, and we have some big problems. So for $8,000 a pop, you can grab yourself a blood bag of the finest young blood you can get your hands on in the market. Why is this an issue? Well, the NIH cited several reasons. One, this creates blood bonds. So a dependency on a very specific person for their blood. Yes, you can become addicted to a person's blood. And we have a semi-limited set of donors. So they even cite that this can be create an exploitation market, okay? They don't think that blood will come from the affluent youth in the developed countries to elderly and poor people. They also cite issues of consent, considering that this has to be young blood, so below the age of 18, and the younger, the better. It will create an exploitation system and a two-class health system, meaning this will be available to really only the wealthy and not the poor or regular folk like us. And most importantly, they cite reproduction issues. See, if we're living longer lives and not dying off fast enough, we can't have as many children. There aren't as many resources available. So they even say that we will have to restrict procreation. That should be a decision left to the American people. They already have tech companies rolling this shit out. So you telling me the wealthy are going to make this $8,000 a pop to where we can't afford it, get the blood from our children, and then ban us from procreating so they can live longer?
That's not appropriate, because that article that she's referencing wasn't supposed to be published yet. So I'm not negating the information. I'm just saying that it's unethical to publish the article when it shouldn't have been published, because we were told in an internal email that was going to be published next week. So the fact that she has it already shows that one of our competitors is publishing it early just to get clicks. Listen, folks, there's a lot of people telling you a bunch of lies, but you need to pay attention to the Godless Commie News Network. We won't lie to you. We absolutely have your best intentions, your best best outcomes as our intention. We would never lie to you, and we want you to know the truth. So with that, I bid you adieu. I'm going to go try to do some yoga. But as I do yoga, just remember that there are people who really want to deceive you. And because they want to deceive you, they're going to tell you all sorts of stuff that you want to hear. Don't believe them, believe me. I like this song. It's Mongolian throat singing. Alright. I love it. Alright. Hey, I had to take that off because I was going to do the gospel, but I never wanted to be on camera like saying not the gospel, because you just don't mess with the gospel. Hopefully you got the idea. And send that to your moderate friends. Send that to the mushy pragmatists. Send that to the people that are like, believe anything they're told on the internet. I had fun. It was so hard to keep myself from laughing. You really got to adopt a character. You really got to go all in. Anyway, let me know what you think about that in the comments. I had fun. I like to have fun. I like to mess it up. I like to change things up. The gospel of Jesus Christ, the most powerful, most best part of anything ever. The power to salvation. The death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. All other worldviews will unite around the rejection of Jesus. The Bible speaks about a unified religion. The Bible speaks about everybody bowing down and worshiping the Antichrist. And you have to think, why would Satan try so hard to get everyone to worship him instead of Jesus? And why is it Christianity? Why is it Bible-believing Christians are the ones that are rejected? You ever notice that? You can have religions that start to cut corners, all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about traditions and all that stuff. I'm talking about the core belief that people have. Whatever it is, you and I have both sinned. Jesus paid our fine. Because God is a perfect judge, he's going to punish all sin, past, present, future. And because he's eternal and infinite, his punishments are eternal and infinite. But his rewards and his gifts are also eternal and infinite. Jesus, being God in the flesh, that's the whole point of the Gospel of John. The book of John, which I'm doing a Bible study through, it's all about the Word became flesh. Jesus Christ, God became flesh, like legitimate, actual flesh. There's no other exclusive truth claim in any other system except for that. Christ made so many specific claims that either make him crazy or God. Because by claiming to be God and no one else being right, he claims exclusive authority to be true. Now, if he were wrong, then he's crazy and he deserved to be killed. But if he was right, that changes everything. The gospel of Jesus Christ, the resurrection of Jesus from the grave, is the most consequential event in history. And what you do with that determines what you will be doing for eternity. Christians repent, which means they turn away from their sin. Repent comes from metanoia. Metanoia is just a new mind, a new way of thinking about things. You recognize sin is bad because God hates it and it breaks his law. The more you mature, you're going to recognize sin is bad because I'm going to do something against the God that I love. And anytime you do something bad against someone you love, you feel bad about it. So whenever you're a baby Christian, you recognize this is bad because I'm told not to do this. As you mature, you recognize I'm sinning against God and I love God. Why would you knowingly do something bad against people that you love? And then if you think about that he's God and it's infinite, it's like even more so. But the more that you walk with God, the more that you read your Bible, the more that you pray, the more that you spend time in the Word learning from Jesus, the more that you realize this world is not your home, the better you'll be able to engage and have good, stable thoughts about all the chaos that's going on. And the last thing, these people that I try to do this live stream for tonight, the Coexist bumper sticker crowd, these folks have blinders on and they're not paying attention. They lack self-awareness. And that is why I would encourage you, if you believe the gospel, if you are a Christian, you need to start telling people that. You don't have to do stuff. You just have to preach the gospel. Now, everyone's got their own thing. Do it in your own way. Sure, God's given you your talents. You are not me and I am not you. But people need to know about Jesus. And the chaos and the craziness and the confusion is so much that I don't want to spend any more time screwing around. I want to go straight for it, which is why I try to bring the gospel in everything that I do. And that's what we do. So believe the gospel, turn away from your sin and believe the gospel, and you're going to go to heaven. Don't. Conscious eternal torment in a lake of fire. And I might not like you, but I love you. And I don't want you to do that. I don't want that to happen to you. So I appreciate your time. You can find more information about me in the links below. This is 100% listener supported. 100% listener supported. No corporate ads. No one telling me nothing to do. No timelines. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. You can find the PayPal and the Venmo links in the description below. Thank you to the people who helped me. It does support my family. Thank you very much. This is my job. I treat this as a job. Takes time to think about stuff like that and like to put it together. And then if you want to be more committed, you can think about a subscribe star option, and that link is in the description below too. $15 a month is the same for Netflix. Netflix talks about like kiddie porn and godless comedy brainwashing stuff. I don't. So there you go. Anyway, I appreciate your time. I'm Jarrin Jackson. I love America. Now go to war.